Hello, here is BB Walker. I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to discuss some issues, some questions, some misunderstandings that refers to MIDI stream MIDI files and moving them into computer, then playing back the MIDI stuff, and also recording files into digital streams like WAV files or MP3 files, and then moving into computer and doing stuff with this. So today we will be using both the Yamaha PSR and the computer, which I bring here to demonstrate you some basic stuff connected with Audacity, normalizing stuff, and so on. So the first thing that I need to repeat is to, how to distinguish what are the differences between MIDI recording, what is MIDI recording, and how it refers to the WAV digital recording. So on my channel you will find both the videos where I am discussing recording MIDI. MIDI is only a note, it's a signal. The MIDI stream is not a digital stream. It is only the information that is sent, that I'm pressing the C note, how long, and now I'm pressing the E note, and so on and so on. So MIDI allows you to get the information about the note you are pressing on the keyboard. So it says it's sending the message to some device. Most of the devices are both input and output, so they could also listen the MIDI notes and playing back it like this Yamaha, or it could be also as a input device where you are pressing somewhere, just like MIDI controllers, MIDI keyboards. There's no synthesizer inside, there's no MIDI stuff, so you're only plugging the keyboard, MIDI keyboard, to computer and using it with the software like FL Studio, Cubase, and so on to making music easier than clicking the mouse and setting the notes on a proper way. So MIDI signal, if you take a MIDI file and move to another device, another device could be also another keyboard, it could be also a computer, it always will be different in the way how you hear it, because the samples that are play, for example, this is grand piano, yeah, but you can take this MIDI recording, move to computer, and change it into strings, into the drums, whatever you want. And all this information, this MIDI information, the final product, the final music that comes from this MIDI signal depends on the software or hardware device called the MIDI synthesizer. So the device that change this note and substitute, replace with the samples. So of course this is the pre-recorded samples, and the MIDI could be played back only with the device that have the samples. So the sample of piano, the sample of strings, or the synthetic sounds using the synthesizers. And this is why where you are recording MIDI on a pen drive, for example, like on my channel where I'm explaining the multi-track recording and so on, and take this to computer and open in a computer where, for example, there is a Windows WAV file from Microsoft, the synthesizer, the sound quality is very bad. And most of the question for you was why I'm taking the MIDI file into computer, it sounds completely different. Yes, it sounds completely different because on Yamaha you are using this built-in Yamaha synthesizer MIDI, and if you move it to computer you get completely different final product, final music, because you are using different synthesizer. Okay, and MIDI is great because you are able to edit those notes, fix mistakes using quantizing, changing tempo, and so on. But if you want to record your performance on a Yamaha and move to computer, for example, to share with your friends, to use it as a backing music for a video to YouTube or some other places, you need to record it in a digital way. It's like a tape that records, it's like a built-in mic which records the streams exactly like you're playing in here with those samples, those effects, live knobs, and everything is saved into one file, a WAV file, stereo file. And today I will show you There is of course a video on my channel where I'm recording using WAV files, but today I will show you some trick that allows you using Mixer to save two separated tracks on left and right channel, and then we record it and move to computer this WAV file, and I will show you the normalizing thing. So stay tuned, we are going here. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I won't be repeating all the stuff. The only thing that you need to know, you need a memory stick in here in the USB port, a standard memory stick, 2 gigabytes is full enough for a lot of music and so on. So today we only record the WAV file, but we set the mixers to separate the styles from the voices. So let's take some style, indie rock maybe. Accompaniment. Okay, so something like this. Of course, if you are interested in this, more basic information, please check to my channel. There's a lot of information about it. So today we are placing mixer, and if we take a look on the mixer, we will see that standard way for recording is both styles. I will zoom it. Both styles and paths and left and right be in a center. But using arrows, I will go here and move the style completely to the left channel, and then using arrows I will go here, and right one is our leading voice, soloing voice. I will put completely to the right. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to have style on left channel, so it will be listened on the left speaker, and the voices on the right channel. And we will be recording not MIDI today, because if you're recording MIDI you can do whatever you want, but you lose this information. You don't, with the MIDI you cannot get your samples from Yamaha to computer. You only need to replace it with the synthesizers and your samples that you have in your DAW software or any other places. But let's leave this MIDI stuff behind and take a look on this audio USB player. Audio USB player is something like, the external stuff like Zoom H4n Pro recorder. It's something like this, but inside this device, and it records of course on the USB stick. These WAV files are recorded on USB stick, so it's easy to take it to computer. And today we do the following. I will press the record. Now it's waiting, and if I press start, I could start my performance. Please remember the style is to the left channel and the voices will be to the right. So let's start recording and play something demonstration. Pressing stop, and there's information that our files has been saved under the audio 053.wav. It's a file name of our device. So now I will remove the memory stick from the Yamaha, and I will take it to computer and open it in Audacity. So give me a moment, I will install the computer. Alright, so we are now in Audacity software on the computer. Now I have connected the memory stick, the pen drive, to computer, and now it's on my disk hard drive G, and the file name, as you remember, was audio 0053. So here you can see that there is a stereo file with 2 tracks, and if you play it now, on the left you will hear the drums, and on the right you will hear the voice, this piano. The first thing that we need to do is to split those stereo file into mono tracks. So you're pressing in here on the tracks and click split stereo to mono. Now you have 2 tracks. Both them are synchronized, but they are differs one from another. And the first thing that we need to do is to make a normalizing. So there was also a question about it, how to normalize on Audacity. So you are selecting everything or pressing, clicking twice on using mouse or this Control plus A shortcut. Then go to effects and select normalize. Normalize, and we will normalize to 0. So the maximum amplitude of the signal will be 0. So the signal will be, as loud as possible without the distortion and cutting down. Then we do the same thing with the second track. So I'm selecting everything, go to effects and clicking normalize. And this is basically the entry step that you do with all your signals. You're normalizing all the tracks and then you play with the rest of the signals. So drums, 2, 3, and everything goes. I will tell the volume. You can mute one track, play the grand piano, or you can mute all them and play only the drums. So this is the great stuff because you are able to, make a mix. You can change the panning from left to right in your, basic. If you're in your final mix, you can gain the piano more or just. However, what do you want to do? You can do it with your signal. And decrease the piano. So, of course, you can partially increase the piano by selecting and using normalize on a part of the stuff. You also can normalize, so it will be much louder at the beginning in the intro where you're soloing. And then will be much quieter. So basically this is how you normalize the whole track, the first and the second one, by splitting them. And now you're just able to save the project or make an export into MP3 file or WAV file or whatever you want. Okay, so now let's summarize all the stuff that I have shown you so far. So first thing, if you want to take the music from your instrument, keyboard, digital piano, whatever, and get it to computer, and the main purpose for you is to have exactly the same sound quality, the same performance from here to here, you are using WAV files, not MIDI files, because MIDI files are files that have these events that I am pressing C note, E note, and so on, but the mapping of the voices, I mean on which channel MIDI, which voice will be, it's completely different, and this information is inside the device that is playing MIDI, not recording. We are recording MIDI, you are recording only the notes that are played, but the information, which sound, how it sounds, are done on the playback device. Of course, with the MIDI, we have some, in a MIDI standard, there is something like the instrument, the number of instrument, and for example, I don't know, 13 channel is for drums, and there are strings and so on. So most of the matches. I mean, violin is violin and so on, but they sound completely different. And if you want to making arrangement, extend your software, extend your record, and make it bigger, longer, change voices, then you are using MIDI. But you must be aware that the difference between the sound that you hear in here and in the computer will be completely different. So to summarize, if you want to have one-to-one sound, same sound from here to here, and you don't want to edit it, or you just want to change volumes and normalize stuff, you are using WAV files. If you want to making some professional, very detailed, you need to take MIDI file and then play with the mapping of the voices and so on. And at the end, some some kind of tip that I'm using personally is that if I want to have both, I mean, is it possible to have both? I mean, the same sound quality for performance, so WAV files, but also the information on MIDI, so the notes. And it's possible. It's a very simple trick. You are recording using MIDI recording. Please refer to the description. There is a video where I'm explaining the MIDI recording, even the multi-track MIDI recording. So you're recording MIDI here, here, here. You are saving MIDI files, so you are ready to move to computer to edit in FL Studio or any other DAW software which MIDI support. And then, if you have this MIDI full performance that you have done, you are using USB audio player, and then you play a song in here. So you will record the song, the MIDI song, with the samples that are in here. So you will have both. You will have a WAV file that sound exactly the same like the original performance done here. And also you have the MIDI files with the notes. So you will be able to change, for example, piano to violin or something like this. So basically those are the differences. The WAV files is a digital recording. You cannot change the voices and so on. You can only work it as a signal recorded from microphone. So this is a good reference. This is a good example how they are connected. So the WAV file recording is like recording using microphone from the speakers. You only have some limited possibilities in mix to do something. The MIDI recording is completely different stuff. You get only the stream of events, what happened, which note has been pressed on the keyboard, and then with this information you are applying the voices to the MIDI channels, and then you have this complete different sound, because different devices means different samples, MIDI samples, and the better devices, the more expensive device will usually sounds better. In a computer, the quality of this built-in MIDI synthesizer from Microsoft is horrible, and you can buy a software that have this MIDI synthesizer, better sounds. I don't want to give you some names now, because I was playing with MIDI on a computer years ago, and I think now it's a complete different stuff on this year, 2012. So 2020, sorry. So it will become pretty different. Okay, so I think it's all for now. It's a very big topic, and if you are interested in MIDI editing, there are some comments that people are asking how to record all the stuff on the separate MIDI tracks in FL Studio and play it exactly like in Yamaha. It is also possible. It's very, very hard to do, because you can, of course, record all the samples from here. For example, record this as a MIDI sample, this C note from grand piano. Record is a WAV file, move to MIDI, move to FL Studio, and replace it with the appropriate MIDI channel voice. So it's like hacking those voices, copying it into computer. It is, of course, possible, but it's very quite difficult. But it's possible, to have exact the same voices. If you are interested in such a video, I could prepare it, but please give me a comment if you like this. So I think it's all for now, and as always, give me a thumb up, give me a comment if you are interested in this topic, or you're not interested, you are preferring something other videos. So thanks again. It was BB Walker. Have a nice weekend, and I hope see you soon. Good luck.